Welcome to the Cozy Pixel, your cozy corner of imagination and wonder. Tonight's story is just for you. So get comfy, snuggle in, and take a couple deep breaths with me. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. You are safe. You are loved. And you are right where you're meant to be. Now close your eyes and let's go on an adventure together. In a quiet little pixel village, nestled between blocky mountains and rolling cube-shaped farms, lived a kind-hearted baker named Milo. He was a blocky human, shaped just like everything else in the world around him. Square head, square hands, square toes. But his heart, oh, that was anything but square. Every night, just as the moon rose and the rain gently tapped on the rooftops, Milo would tie on his soft, flour-dusted apron and begin to bake. Warm cupcakes, gooey muffins, sweet slices of golden cake. He made it all, filling the bakery with the coziest smells you could imagine. The bakery sat at the edge of the village, its little windows glowing like fireflies in the night, and once the treats were ready, Milo would carefully place them into woven baskets and tiptoe through the village, leaving goodies on doorsteps without a single knock. No one ever saw him do it. And though the villagers never seemed to say thank you, they always looked a little brighter the next morning. A farmer would smile at his crops, a miner would hum as she worked, a little librarian would giggle for no reason at all. Milo didn't mind that no one noticed. He loved his quiet nights, the rhythm of baking, and the joy of giving. He knew the world could be softened with just a little sweetness. But one rainy evening, as he stirred his batter, something didn't feel quite right. His head was heavy. His hands moved slower than usual. He coughed, just once, but it echoed through the empty bakery like thunder. He tried to finish the cupcakes, but his knees wobbled and the room spun. Finally he sat down behind the counter, pulling a quilt over his lap. The cupcakes would have to wait, so would the village. Milo closed his eyes, hoping that maybe, just maybe, someone else could bring the sweetness tonight. The rain continued to fall softly outside. Little droplets tapped against the window like they were asking, "Where are the cupcakes tonight?" Morning came slowly. The villagers woke, rubbed their sleepy eyes, and peeked out their doors. But something was missing. There were no warm muffins waiting, no sweet cakes with lemon glaze. At first no one said anything, they just looked at one another, puzzled. The librarian noticed first. She clutched her empty basket and whispered, "Where's the vanilla loaf?" The miner frowned at her porch. The farmer sniffed the air and shook his head. All over the village people felt the absence of something they had never truly noticed before. Something soft. Something warm, something kind. Back at the bakery, Milo stayed curled up behind the counter, the soft quilt tucked under his chin. His nose was stuffy, his cheeks were flushed. He drifted in and out of sleep, dreaming of sugar and cinnamon and soft little smiles. Then, a knock. It was gentle. Then another, and another. Milo opened his eyes slowly. Through the window he saw shapes, villages, dozens of them, holding bowls and baskets and steaming cups. The librarian stepped forward and left something by the door. A tiny card, with a drawing of a cupcake and the words, "Thank you." The farmer placed down a warm loaf of bread, fresh from her oven. The miner left a chunk of golden honeycomb wrapped in cloth. And one by one, the villagers returned the kindness they had received for so long. Inside, Milo sat up slowly. He wrapped himself tighter in his quilt and looked out the window. Tears welled in his eyes, but they weren't from being sick. They were from something deeper, a feeling that bubbled like warm dough inside his heart. He had given kindness, and now kindness was coming back. Over the next few days, Milo stayed wrapped in his quilt. He sipped warm soup made by neighbors. He read handwritten notes tucked in baskets. He even giggled at a cupcake that was more frosting than cake. With each small act of kindness, he felt stronger, not just in his body, but in his spirit. By the end of the week, Milo was back in the kitchen. He wore his flour-dusted apron again. The mixing bowls were clinking, the ovens were glowing, and once again the sweet scent of vanilla and spice drifted through the Pixel village. But something had changed. Now when Milo left a treat at someone's doorstep, he often found a note there waiting. Sometimes it said, "Thank you." Other times, "You made my day." And sometimes the treat came with a surprise of its own, a bouquet of pixel daisies, a drawing from a child, a jar of jam from a neighbor's farm. The village had learned something important, that kindness isn't a one-way street. It flows like warm cocoa, from cup to cup. And Milo, well, Milo felt something new each time he baked. He felt seen. He felt appreciated. He felt loved. One evening, as the sky turned to soft purples and gentle blues, Milo stood at the window of his bakery. The village twinkled with little lanterns. Laughter floated through the air, and in the distance someone played a soft melody on a blocky piano. Milo smiled. He turned off the ovens, pulled the quilt over his shoulders, and crawled back behind the counter where his little bed waited. As he tucked himself in, he whispered, "Thank you." Outside, the stars shimmered above the rooftops. Inside, the warmth of kindness wrapped around Milo like a hug. He closed his eyes, took one last deep breath, and drifted off to sleep with a heart full of joy. The village was still. The night was peaceful, and all was well in the Blocky village.